What happens when people die? Is there life after death? Death Parade is an anime that explores this question in a world where people who have passed away arrive at a bar where they play a game to determine if they are sent to hell or heaven. In Death Parade, hell represents a dark void where the soul is trapped forever, and heaven represents being reincarnated into a new body. At the bar, a bartender who serves as an arbiter will determine the fate of the guests. Arbiters are creatures created by God solely to pass judgment onto dead humans. They follow a set of rules which are: Death Parade starts off with newlyweds Takashi and Machiko. They arrive at Queen Decim, a bar with a bartender named Decim. They have no memories of how they ended up at the bar. Decim asks them to play a random game with their lives on the line. They refuse and try to find a way out. After failing to find an exit, they return to Decim where he shows them a room full of dead bodies. Now fearing for their lives, they end up playing a game of darts, where each score on the dartboard is linked to various parts of their body and will inflict pain when hit. They're skeptical at first but quickly learns that the pain is real. As the game continues, they start to regain their memories and remember that they both died in a car crash. Takashi is skeptical about Machiko cheating on him and tries to win the game. Machiko denies having an affair and wins the game in the end. Takashi still suspects Machiko and she subsequently claims that she only married him for his money. Takashi tries to stab Machiko but is stopped by Decim. Decim then escorts them to an elevator each and bids them farewell. Takashi is sent to heaven while Machiko is sent to hell. While all of that was happening, a black-haired woman and a girl named Nona was watching everything from behind the scenes. After watching Decim pass judgment onto Takashi and Machiko, the black-haired girl gives her opinion stating that Machiko was lying about Takashi not being her baby's father in order to save Takashi's soul as she deeply regrets cheating. Decim ponders and begins to doubt his judgment. Before leaving the bar, Nona tells the black-haired woman that she will be working as Decim's assistant from now on. Two new guests, a college student named Shigeru and a girl who can't remember her name, arrive at Queen Decim and plays a game of bowling. As the game progresses, the girl remembers her name as Chisato and was once childhood friends with Shigeru. They both bond quickly and Shigeru asks to date Chisato if he wins the game. During the game, Shigeru regains his memories and learns that he and Chisato died in a bus accident, while Chisato learns the truth about herself. After the game, Shigeru goes on a date with Chisato as agreed even after knowing the truth about Chisato. Decim escorts them to the elevator after their date and bids them farewell. They are both sent to heaven. It is revealed later that Chisato is actually Shigeru's other childhood friend who underwent plastic surgery to look like Chisato in order to win Shigeru's attention. The next two guests of Queen Decim are Yosuke and the TV celebrity Misaki. Misaki believes she is on a hidden camera show and asks Yosuke to act accordingly with her. Both of them participate in an arcade fighting game using fighters that are based on themselves. Yosuke wins the first round and Misaki asks him to let her win the next round. During the second round, Decim uses a device which causes Yosuke's joystick to fall off, allowing Misaki to win the round. After Decim confirms that they are not on a TV show, Misaki starts to panic and thinks that she'll die if she loses the game. During the final round, Decim uses his device again to cause Misaki's joystick to fall off, explaining to his assistant that it is necessary to create an extreme situation to expose a soul's darkness and pass judgment. Fearing for her life, Misaki then attacks Yosuke, causing him to faint. Misaki starts to regret her decision, but Decim forces her to finish the game. Yosuke then regains consciousness and the match ends as a draw. They realize after the game that they are both dead, with Yosuke committing suicide due to his troubled childhood and Misaki being killed by her assistant. Decim then passes judgment and sends Yosuke to heaven while Misaki is sent to hell. The next day, a young boy and a man arrive at Queen Decim. Decim is puzzled when the man appears to have been to Queen Decim before. At another location, Nona is seen playing a game of pool with Oculus, an old guy who is second in line to the position of God. As Decim restrains the man, the young boy puts Decim's assistant to sleep. The young boy is revealed to be Ginty, another arbiter working at a different bar. It is revealed that Decim's assistant was actually a guest at Queen Decim. When she arrived at the bar, she was fully aware that she is dead and hence did not play the game, making Decim unable to pass judgment onto her. Decim and Ginty begin to fight when Nona arrives to stop them. Nona tells Decim that this was just a test and Decim has failed because he failed to notice that the boy had no memories. Later on that day, Decim's assistant dreams about a boy and a girl, Jimmy and Shavot, and Nona is seen with a book about Shavot. At the bar run by Ginty, a schoolgirl named Mayu and Harada, a member of a boy band, arrive. They start playing a game of Twister. As the game goes on, Ginty changes the game and causes extreme weather conditions to happen with each panel they step on. Ginty then presents a final challenge by removing all the other panels except the ones that they are stepping on, putting them above a pit of spikes. Just as Harada was about to push Mayu off, Mayu decides to forfeit the game and lets herself fall. Before falling, Mayu thanks Harada for not letting his fence down. He then has a flashback of when he caused his ex-girlfriend to commit suicide. Feeling guilty, Harada holds on to Mayu from falling to her death, who falls anyway and lands safely on the fake spikes. Mayu then remembers how she died by knocking her head on the floor, and Harada recalls he is killed by his girlfriend, who is in fact the sister of his ex seeking revenge. The fate of Mayu and Harada remain unknown after that. At Queen Decim, Decim's assistant finds a book about the boy and girl she had been dreaming about, causing her to regain part of her memories and realizes that she is dead. She questions Decim about the book, who tells her about Quinn, the former bartender at Queen Decim. Meanwhile, Quinn, who has transferred to the Information Bureau after quitting her job as an arbiter, is having a drink with Nona and discussing about Decim, who is an arbiter with human emotions. Decim shares with his assistant his hobby, which is collecting dummies of the guests who were sent to hell and creating puppets to fill Queen Decim. He tells her that he does this so that the guests will not be forgotten. Later on, Decim receives a call from Nona telling him that he will be sent 2 special guests, one of them whom is a murderer. The 2 new guests, a young man named Shimada and a detective named Tatsumi, arrive. They play a game of air hockey, and as the game progresses, they begin to regain their memories. Shimada remembers that his sister was assaulted and Tatsumi recalls that his wife was murdered. After the game ends, Shimada remembers that he killed the assaulter of his sister and Tatsumi on the other hand killed the murderer of his wife. Shimada also recalls his sister saying that there was another accomplice who was watching at the scene. It is revealed that Tatsumi is killed by Shimada when he enters the house of the assaulter to kill him as well. The other accomplice was in fact Tatsumi, who watched without helping as Tatsumi's sister was being assaulted. The reason he did so was just so that he had a reason to kill the attacker later on. Enraged by his actions, Shimada tries to attack Tatsumi but is stopped by Decim. Decim then gives Shimada the chance to inflict serious pain onto Tatsumi. Decim's assistant tries to intervene, stating that humans cannot be judged based on the darkness on their souls alone. However, Shimada is consumed by anger and chooses to inflict pain onto Tatsumi. They are both sent to hell in the end by Decim. Decim is reminded by Nona that he needs to judge his assistant as she will turn into a dummy if she is left unjudged for too long. Decim then arranges a game where he, his assistant and an old woman named Sachiko play a game of cards featuring designs based on all 3 of them. After realizing she has passed away, Sachiko thanks Decim for allowing her to see her old drawings she has drawn over the years working as a manga artist. Sachiko then goes on to tell the story of Shavo, which appears on one of the cards, leading Decim's assistant to remember her past and eventually her name, which was Chiyuki. As Sachiko enters the elevator to be sent to heaven, Oculus learns of Decim possessing human emotions by looking into the memory of the elevator attendant Clevis. Meanwhile, Nona is seen asking Quinn to locate Chiyuki's memories. At Ginty's bar, Ginty gives Mayu the choice to send another human soul to hell in return of Harada's soul. Mayu decides not to harm another human and to follow Harada to hell together. Back at Queen Decim, Chiyuki is performing an ice skating show, which was a huge part of her life when she was alive. Chiyuki slowly recovers all her memories and remembers that she injured her knee during one of her performances and could not skate again forever, leaving her to suffer from depression and eventually taking her own life. Decim then brings Chiyuki to her house, where he offers her the chance to return to life in exchange for another human's life. Chiyuki is close to accepting his offer, when she remembers all the guests who have arrived at Queen Decim and believes that the life that she would have taken also has people who cherish and care for them, all the while regretting not cherishing her own life. Having seen this, Decim experiences a swell of emotion and tells Chiyuki that this was all part of her judgment and cries for the first time. All the while, Nona and Oculus were watching, proving to Oculus that understanding human emotions is an important part in judging humans. Decim then sends Chiyuki to the elevator to heaven with a smile on his face. The show ends with Decim welcoming his new guests with the same smile as before, implying that he has kept his human emotions.